Dear students, I welcome you all to the 14th session of Reproductive Biology and Developmental Biology paper prescribed by the Mangalore University for 6th semester BSc Zoology. In this session, we shall study about different types of eggs that can be observed amongst the animals. Before going to study about the different types of eggs, we shall look into the definition of an egg. Egg in biology is the female sex cell or female gamete. In zoology, the Latin term for egg is ovum. That is frequently used to refer to the single cell, while the word egg may be applied to entire specialized structure or capsule that consists of the ovum, its various protective membranes, and any accompanying nutritive materials such as the albumen or yolk. The human female reproductive cell is also usually called as an ovum. So if you look at these photographs, you can find that there are numerous types of eggs across the animal kingdom. Each and every animal will produce a specialized female gamete, if it's a female, called an egg or ovum. Sometimes the nomenclature egg is commonly used to denote a structure like this, you can see here, which is having an embryo, that means a developing fetus, or the tissues that are potent enough to produce an embryo in the future, along with certain membranes such as yolk sac, chorion, etc., which aid in the process of development, and other materials such as yolk and albumen, which are stored in the egg for the supply of nutrition to the developing embryos. If you look at the female gametes of the animals across the animal kingdom, then each and every animal has a great ability to produce its own kind of a female gamete. For an example, the mature female gamete in human beings are called an ovum, or sometimes it is also referred as an egg. As you can see here, this is the real picture of ovulating woman's ovary, where you can see an egg is coming out of the ovary. This photograph was taken using a catheter fixed with a camera, and the technique is called endoscopy. And here you can see these are some of the eggs of birds, and this is an egg of butterflies. And if you look at here, a photograph of Graafian follicle, a follicle which is having a mature ovum of the human beings or any of the mammals. In mammals, the ovum will be surrounded by many layered cells, and the mature ovarian follicle in mammals are called the Graafian follicle, and the name Graafian follicle is offered in honor of the man who first described the structure of mature ovarian follicle in mammals. So now let us see how the eggs of different animals can be classified based on the quantity of yolk that they possess. Yolk is a nutritive substance that is rich in proteins and lipids, as well as other biomolecules that are required for the normal growth and development of the embryo. Hence, this yolk will be filled in the egg because the sperm do not carry any kind of cytoplasm. So all the required nutrients for the developing embryo must come from the ovum itself. So this yolk will be synthesized and stored in the cytoplasm of the ovum before the fertilization. And based on the quantity of yolk present in the ovum or the egg, we can classify them into several types. For an example, the first one, alecithal egg. Here lecithal refers to the quantity of yolk or simply yolk, and the prefix refers to the quantity of yolk. Alecithal means these are the eggs that possess very little or almost no quantity of ovum. The yolk. Or yolk is present in very low amount. This kind of eggs can be observed in those animals where the young ones are rare and supplied with the nutrition throughout the development in the specialized structure called uterus. And this kind of egg can be seen in all mammals except egg-laying mammals, including human beings as well. The next type of eggs are microlecithal eggs. These microlecithal eggs are the eggs that contains very small quantity of yolk. For example, the eggs of sea urchins, the ones which are shown in these photographs, or the egg of Amphioxus, where you can see a very little quantity of yolk is present. The eggs of man contain very little amount of yolk, hence the human egg is called alecithal, which means it's almost free of yolk because the nourishment comes through the placenta from the mother's body. So they need not to worry about, storing the nutrients that are required for the development of the embryo. The next type of eggs that are classified based on the quantity of yolk is the mesolecithal egg. Mesolecithal eggs are the eggs they contain moderate amount of yolk, a small amount of yolk. The eggs of lampreys, the Petromyzon and Maxine, lungfishes, and the eggs of frogs and toads, as you can see here, are the best examples of mesolecithal eggs. And the other category are macrolecithal, or sometimes they are called megalecithal, or even sometimes they are called polylecithal eggs. These are the eggs which contain large quantities of yolk. The eggs of birds or the reptiles and some bony fishes are the best examples of macrolecithal egg because they contain large quantities of yolk in them. You can see here this is a section of egg of poultry where you can see it's a large quantity of yolk. This yellow colored structure is the yolk, and the active part from which the embryo develops is confined to a small disc above this concentrated yolk, and is called germinal disc, and the entire structure is surrounded again by a proteinaceous substance called albumin as well. And this is the photograph of the largest egg in the animal kingdom right now, is the ostrich egg. And this is the comparison between the egg of an ostrich and the egg of the normal domestic hen. The next classification of egg is done on the basis of the distribution of yolk in the cytoplasm. How yolk is distributed in the cytoplasm. Based on that, they have classified the ovum into several kinds. And let us look into them one by one. The first one is the homoleucethal egg. Homoleucethal egg is the egg in which the yolk is uniformly distributed in the cytoplasm. As you can see here, the egg of the Amphioxus, the eggs of some annelids and mollusks, as well as the protochordate egg, the Herdmania, Amphioxus, all the eggs of these animals contain little quantity of yolk, but they are distributed uniformly in the cytoplasm. The distribution of the yolk is not confined to a particular part in the cytoplasm or particular position in the cytoplasm. Such kinds of eggs are called homoleucethal eggs. The next type of egg that is classified based on the position of the yolk is the myoleucethal egg. In this myoleucethal egg, the yolk is very large. Huge quantities of yolk will be present, and it occupies nearly the entire ooplasm. The entire ovum will be filled with the yolk, leaving free only a small disc-like area of cytoplasm for the nucleus. The example is the eggs of reptiles and birds, and the eggs of egg-laying mammals such as the platypus and echidna, which are classified under the order Monotremata. You can see here the active part of the cytoplasm. Active part means the one which is going to give rise to the embryo in the future, is confined to a small disc-like structure here. And the entire egg is filled, that means the cytoplasm is completely filled with yolk and the albumin. Right? So this is a peculiar kind of egg that could be observed in reptiles, birds, and in egg-laying mammals. So such eggs are called myoleucethal eggs. And if the egg yolk is concentrated in the vegetal pole of the body or of the ovum, then such eggs are called teloleucethal egg. Telo means tip and lecithin means yolk. So if the yolk is concentrated, as in this amphibian egg, you can see here the yolk is concentrated in a part of the cytoplasm of the ovum, and such eggs are called teloleucethal eggs. The eggs of frog, eggs of salamanders are the best example for this. The next type of egg that is classified based on the distribution of yolk is the centroleucethal egg. Here the yolk is distributed and is present in the central part of the egg. That means the yolk is localized at the center of the cytoplasm. Hence, such eggs are called centroleucethal. Centro means center, Lecithal means the presence of yolk. So if at all any egg is having yolky cytoplasm at the center, then such eggs are called centrolecithal eggs. And the eggs of the insects are the best examples for the centrolecithal eggs. So for any further information about types of eggs, I would recommend you to follow these textbooks. Thank you.